morning. Posting a playlist if you want to listen along. Share. And then we'll get started in just a minute. There we go. Posting it right under the live video feed. I also posted the link underneath my picture from Friday. So the yoga pictures, you can scroll down and find that. Give everyone who's logging on just a minute to get logged on and settle in. And then we are going to get started. We're going to start in Shavasana today, so lying down on our backs. So whenever you are logged in and settled in, go ahead and find a nice comfortable variation lying down on your back. And I'll be joining you there in just a few moments. Welcome to everyone, whenever it is that you are logging on to this live video. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank yourself for taking this time for yourself. We're going to start in Shavasana this morning, so lying down on your backs. I appreciate your flexibility with the time change, and stay tuned for some changes for July. But for today, happy Sunday morning, end of June, believe it or not. Let's get started. It's just about 7:30, so welcome again and thanks so much for joining me. You can lie down on your back, finding a nice comfortable variation of Shavasana. No right or wrong, as long as it feels good for you. And I will meet you there in just a moment. If you guys are listening to any music or following along with my playlist, you can go ahead and get that started. And then I invite you to close your eyes and just settle in. I've been noticing more so lately than ever that I close my eyes through actually a majority of my practice. And I think that really just helps me bring my focus inward. Helps me connect with how the poses feel, how my body feels, how my breath feels, and not worrying about all the distractions that are constantly around us. Even in your own home, if no one's there, I see things that I need to do. So take a moment, if it's comfortable for you, to close your eyes. You should be lying down on your backs. Again, any variation that feels good for you. And start to bring your focus to your breath. Our breath is our most important and valuable tool in yoga and in life. And I just want to share quickly something I saw yesterday. We were watching track and field Olympic trials. And there was a young female runner. I think she had just graduated college. It was her first Olympic trials. And there were some issues with false starts or the sensors. I guess I didn't even realize they have sensors on their feet, being super sensitive to any sort of motion. So their race just kept getting delayed and postponed. And every time between, you could see her. Hand on the heart, hand on the lower belly, or even both hands on the lower belly. And the commentators even remarked on her, connecting with the breath, finding her breath, using it to calm herself down, because obviously that's a situation where nerves could kind of run high. Something I share with you to do too. Bringing a hand to the heart, hand to the belly. It may feel weird at first, but it really does help connect with your inhales and exhales. So maybe try that here while you're on your back. Maybe both hands over the belly, or one hand over the heart and one over the belly. And just take a few slow, really full, really deep inhales and exhales. Breathing with intention, with purpose. Maybe even setting an intention for your practice. It's Sunday, so maybe for your day or your week ahead. And I'm going to join you lying down on my back. And we'll get started in just a moment. I'm just going to take a couple of breaths here. Hand over the heart, hand over the belly. Eyes closed. Feeling everything expand and lift as you inhale. And then lower and depress as you exhale. Let's take one more full breath together. Make it your deepest yet. Let's take a nice full body stretch. So bring the legs together to touch if they're not already. Point the toes, suck in the belly. Extend the arms all the way overhead. Good. Feeling a nice long line of energy all the way from the fingertips to the toes. If you don't have room to extend the arms fully overhead, you can always reach for opposite elbows. Just take a breath or two here. Waking up a little earlier today, maybe the body feels a little bit different. Good. And let's hug the knees into the chest. Give yourself a nice little squeeze. Use the arms to draw the legs closer to the top body. Maybe your shoulders and head lift. Maybe they stay against your mat. Personal preference. Got it. And then let's find a waterfall. So lower the head and the shoulders. Bring the arms along by your side. Straighten your legs high to the sky. Good. It's okay to have a little bend in the knees. Maybe you start by pointing and flexing the toes. Maybe one at a time. Maybe rolling out the ankles. Good. Suck in the belly. You might even feel your lower core start to engage here to hold the legs up. Nice mild inversion to start our practice. Take a couple breaths here. Good. Now let's interlace the hands behind that right leg. And slowly and with control, let's lower the left leg all the way to the mat. Leg can be straight. If that's too much for you, you can bring a bend to the left leg and plant the sole of the left foot. Maybe it's extended long with the heel connected. Maybe it's even hovering an inch or two off the ground just to engage that core a little bit more. But our main focus here is on the right hamstring muscles. So very gently, we're just going to start to wake those up. Don't do anything too extreme. It's early in the morning. It's very early in our practice. You can continue moving that right ankle and foot if you like, if that feels good. Pointing and flexing the toe. Circling out that ankle in one or in both directions. We'll take 2 more full breaths here. Good. With control, let's release that hand grip and let's slowly bring that left leg up to meet the right. Waterfall. Maybe you notice that the one leg, the one side feels a little different from the other. Totally normal. We'll even that out in just a moment. Okay, when you're ready, let's interlace the hands this time behind the left leg, wherever they want to go. Maybe it's behind the hamstring, maybe it's higher behind the calf, whatever feels good for you. But slowly and with control, we lower that right leg. Again, same options. You can hover, you can lower to the ground, or if it's too much this early, just bring a bend and plant the sole of the right foot. Again, it doesn't matter as long as our focus is on this back of the left leg. And we're using our hands to gently, don't force anything, guide that left leg closer to the body. Maybe continue with those foot movements if that felt good. I would try to mirror what you did on the first side. Then settle in for just a few breaths here. Take one more full inhale and exhale. Starting nice and slowly today just to wake up the body. Good. And again, let's release the hand grip. Bring the right leg up to meet the left. We're in waterfall. We're going to settle in here for a couple breaths. If you want to get into the core a little bit, this is a great place to interlace the hands behind the head. Maybe invite in just a couple of crunches to activate those abdominal muscles, or you can find some stillness depending on how you feel. So really just listen to your body. Either way, we're going to take about 2 more breaths. Good. If you're crunching, lower. And then let's reach for the knees with the hands on the same side. Bend the legs. And let's open the knees, pulling them apart from one another, finding a reclined malasana, reclined prayer squat. Again, you can continue with any foot or ankle movements. I like to press up gently on the inside of the knees to open up my legs like I'm opening the pages of a book. Feel a nice groin and inner thigh stretch here. Good. Let's hug the knees back into the chest. Let's bring our arms out wide to a T. Using the core a little bit, we're going to drop both knees to the right, but we're going to hover. Don't plant them to the ground. Feel the obliques start to engage. Good, gazing off that left arm. Using your core, bring those knees in nice and tight, dropping them over to the left, hovering as the gaze comes off the right arm. Eyes can stay closed if this makes you dizzy at all, moving the head side to side. Good, or you can always keep the head center. One more time to each side. Knees through center, drop them to the right, hover. Good, knees through center, drop them to the left. Gaze comes off the right, hover. Good. Final time, let's come through center, except this time you have the option to take the right hand to the outer edge of the left knee, come into a full expression of this spinal twist. Good, so we're not hovering unless you choose to. We're settling in, focusing now more on the stretch, not so much the activation of those obliques. Good, and we'll settle in for one more full breath, so take a nice deep inhale. And exhale. Release the hand grip if you have it. Using the core, bring the knees through center, dropping them to the left. Left hand to the outer edge of the right knee. Gaze off that right arm. And settling in here again for just a couple of breaths. Warming up the spine. Good. Preparing to release out of the spinal twist for the final time. Let's come center. Hug those knees into the chest one more time. Good. And then we're going to take a rock or two or three to get ourselves up to a cross-legged seated position at the top of our mat. So we'll meet an easy seat. Good. Doesn't matter which leg's in front. Once you get there, settle in. Palms can face up or down. Up if you're looking to receive a little energy. Down if maybe you need a little more grounding. Good. Let's take 2 breaths as we bring the shoulders to the ears. So start by rolling the shoulders up nice and high as you inhale. As you exhale, roll them down the back. Good. One more time, even more dramatic. Inhale, lift those shoulders as high as you can. As you exhale, slowly roll them down the back. Good. Let's bring our palms facing down on the knees. We're getting to the neck a little bit here. Very gently. Make sure the shoulders are away from the ears. And let's drop the right ear to the right shoulder. And take this nice and slowly here. Feel a nice stretch along the left side of the neck. Good. Don't hold your breath. Good. Let's bring the head toward the back. So lifting the chin up high to the sky. Again, shoulders drawn away from the ears. Good. Left ear to left shoulder. Really draw that right shoulder down so you can feel that stretch in the right side of the neck. Good. And let's bring the chin into the chest. Good. Feel that stretch along the back side of your neck. And while we're here with the hands gripped on the knees, let's start to bring some roundness into the spine as you gently lean back, using your hands on your knees for kind of some leverage here. Good. Let's move with our breath. So as you inhale, let's start to arch the spine, really make the chest nice and tall and proud. Moving through some cat-cows. We're just doing it seated this time rather than in a tabletop. Good. Exhale. Gently lean back, round that spine. Good. Maybe bring the chin in toward the chest. Good. Exhale. Press it all forward. So shining the heart through the arms. Maybe even dropping the head to the back. Good. Nice arch in the spine. Good. And then coming back to a neutral spine. Good. We're going to just come over the knees, finding a tabletop pose. So tabletop, we're on all fours, hands and knees. We're going to get into the shoulders and the side body a little bit here. One of my favorite things to do. Inhale, let's lift that right arm high to the sky. And our exhale breath floats it down between the left hand and left knee, coming onto that right shoulder, right palm facing up onto the right cheek. Good. Very gentle pressure on that right shoulder. And you can stay right here if that feels okay. Hips are high away from the heels. You have a few options, as always, if you want to take this a little bit further. You can extend the left hand to the top left corner of your mat. And if you want to invite a little bit of balance, you can even extend that left leg just hip height, hip flexor facing down, toes facing down, foot is flexed. Don't hold your breath in any of these postures, knowing that if any advancement I offer doesn't serve you, just come back to where we were previously. If your left leg is lifted, let's lower that left knee to meet the right. Walk the left hand to be underneath the shoulder, fingertips nice and wide and spread so you can press through that palm. Lift that right arm back up high to the sky. And from here, let's keep that arm lifted and let's shift into our modified side plank. So the right leg is going to step behind you, toes to the back of the mat, left knee down. We have lots of options here as far as dropping the right bicep to frame out the ear, maybe lifting the right toes. I'll give you a side view if anyone needs that. If the foot's lifted, let's bring it back down. We're going to press that left palm to come to gate pose, then right hand down the right leg just for a nice side body stretch. Go ahead, see if you can walk those fingertips down a little bit further, gazing off that left bicep muscle. Good, then slowly releasing back into our tabletop pose. Good, this time in our inhale, left arm lifts up high to the sky, gaze follows. And on the exhale, thread the needle between that right hand and right knee, coming onto the left shoulder, onto the left cheek, left palms facing the ceiling. Good, stay. Or walk the right hand to the top right corner of your mat. Again, stay, or extend that right leg just hip height with the toes facing down for a little bit of a balance. You'll also feel a little bit more weight on that left shoulder. Good. If the leg's extended, let's lower it. Walk that hand back in under that right shoulder, press through that palm, lift that left arm up high to the sky. Good, it stays there as the right toes step out to the side like a kickstand, left toes to the back of the mat for a modified side plank. You can stay right here, you can drop the arm forward, maybe lift the leg, you know all your options. Pick whatever feels good for you today. Might not be the same as it was yesterday, might not be the same tomorrow. Just listen to your body and honor where it is right now. Good, bringing the left toes down, pressing through that right palm to lift the top body, arms to a T. This is our gate pose. Left hand down the left leg, right arm frames out the ear, side body stretch here. As you walk your fingertips down the left leg. Go ahead, make sure you're not holding your breath in this side body variation. And then cartwheeling the hands back down into our tabletop pose. Good, let's tuck the toes. Maybe even sit back a little bit. I like to get this nice stretch on the bottom of my feet with my toes tucked. And then we're going to lift the hips and lower the heels, finding our first downward facing dog. And let's pedal out the feet when we get here, so bending one knee at a time, making sure our fingertips are nice and spread. Thinking about lifting the hips as we lower the heels and melting the chest back towards the thighs. Good. Maybe taking whatever moves you need here just to get comfortable for another breath or two. Maybe coming high to the tippy toes, then lowering. Good. Whatever you're doing, if you need to even out, go ahead and do that now. And then we're going to take a nice slow walk, one small step at a time, bringing the hands to the feet, meeting in a forward fold at the top of our mats. So hanging heavy here, letting gravity do the work. It's okay if you have a little micro bend in the knees. Good. On our next inhale, let's come to a flat back. That's our halfway lift to create a little space. Exhale, fold. Good. Next inhale breath. We're going to take a nice slow rise all the way to stand for our upward salute. So arms come out wide and high. Maybe a gentle back bend if that's in your practice. And then as you exhale, part the hands, swan dive slowly back into your forward fold. Inhale. Let's take that halfway lift to a flat back one more time. Exhale, fold. Then maybe you take some gentle sways side to side here. Maybe you bend one knee at a time. Just really let gravity do the work by hanging heavy, making sure there's no wrinkles in the back of your neck. Your gaze should be at your legs or through them, not craning up. Good, let's plant those palms in front of the feet. If you want to hop back, you can, but since it's early, we're going to take one leg step back at a time to our high plank pose. Now let's hold this for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lift the hips, lower the heels, downward facing dog. Now let's find a 3-legged dog by lifting that right leg. Doesn't matter how high it comes. Let's keep our hips square. Let's come high on the left tippy toe. See if we can get a little more height with that right leg. Good. Then when you're ready, we're going to roll out to a plank as you bring the right knee in toward the chest, high on the left toes, and step that right foot in between the hands, finding a low lunge. So fingertips to the mat, maybe even blocks. Great place for blocks if you have them or something that can serve as blocks. Nice deep bend in the right leg, high on the ball of the left foot. Shoulders and hips are square. Good. From here, if you have your hands lifted, bring them back to the earth or to your blocks. We're going to shift and lift into a modified warrior 3. So we're looking to make a T shape with our body. Head, back, left leg all in a straight line. So we're not dumping the top body down. We're keeping the chest as tall as we can. Flex that left foot. Left hip flexors facing the earth. So we're not stacking hips here. Good. Take one more full breath. Again, we're going to take that big step back with the left foot. And we're going to fold over that right leg, finding a wide leg pyramid pose. Again, keep the blocks under your hands or hands to the mat. Hips square, straight legs, folding over the front leg with the top body. If you want to take a halfway lift here, you always can to help create a little bit of space. We're here for 2 more. Good. Nice, slow, steady inhales and exhales throughout your whole practice. I'd love to tell you I want to hear your breath, but obviously I can't, so I'll just remind you that it should be audible. Good. Let's plant the back foot to face the side. Bring a bend into that right leg as we spiral our arms open into our warrior 2. Heel to heel alignment, deep bend in the right leg, left leg is straight, gazing off the right middle finger, not leaning forward, not leaning back. Nice and square and center, tuck the tailbone under. See if you can get a little bit deeper on that right leg. Good. See if you can get a little deeper for 2 more. We're going to have a straight leg pose next, so give it all you've got. Inhale. Exhale for 1. Inhale. Exhale for 2. Let's get a little relief by straightening that right leg. Bump the left foot up a little bit, preparing for triangle. So we're going to lean the top body forward as far as you can reach. And once you get to your full extension, that right hand's going to drop to the inside of the right foot. Left arm up high to the sky. Shoulders are stacked. Hips are stacked. Great place again here for a block underneath that right hand. Great place here if you want to hover to feel the obliques and the core engage a little bit. Maybe even like you're holding a beach ball out in front of you. You'll really feel that. Good. Gaze can be up with the left hand or down toward the right. 2 more breaths. Everything is straight. Straight arms, straight legs for 1 more. Good. Let's slowly lower that left hand to the inside of the right foot, spinning to the ball of the back foot. And then let's take a nice little twist by peeling that right arm up high to the sky. So we're back in this wide-legged pyramid, taking a nice little twist. Straight legs. We're going to change it up in just a second. So take one more breath. And then we're going to go right into our easy twist. So we're going to bring a bend into that right leg. You might need to shimmy the left toes back a little bit more on your mat. Easy twist. Good. And you have the option to stay here. I love taking an easy twist right into a side plank. So if you want to do that, roll to the outer edge of the left foot as you stack that right leg on top of the left. Good. Pressing through the left palm, lift the hips a little bit higher. Maybe even lift that right leg for a couple of breaths. Good. Wherever you are, let's take one more full breath. You know you can take this modified too by dropping the left knee like we did in the warm-up. And we'll all meet back in a traditional plank. We are going to move through a flow. If you don't want to take it, you don't have to. You can go right back to down dog, or you can just hold this plank. If you want to flow, inhale. Exhale, we lower halfway through a push-up, arms nice and close to the body. Inhale. Find upward facing dog, high or low cobra. I'm in a high cobra here. My legs are connected. Pressing through the palms, nice gentle back bend. Good, rolling over the toes, meeting back in downward facing dog. Good, getting ready to move through those same series of poses on the second side. So let's lift our left leg high to the sky for three-legged dog to start. Keep the hips square, head in line with the spine. Come high on those right tippy toes. See if you can get a little more height in that left leg. And then as you roll out to a plank, you bring that left knee in toward the nose with that angry cat back. And with control, you step the left foot in between the hands, finding your low lunge. Left foot's connected, high on the ball of the right foot. Again, come to blocks. You can see I have 3 heights. We all do with our blocks. So if you need even more height, bring it on the tallest setting. Maybe you just need a little support here. Never compromise your alignment. So props are really helpful. And if you don't have blocks, you can use something at home that serves as blocks. Good. Nice and deep for one more breath. Now we're going to shift and lift into that modified warrior 3. So hands are still down or peace fingers. Right leg lifts hip height. So my head, all the way from my head to my right foot should be pretty much a straight line. Engage that glute, lift that chest, flex those right toes down. Good. Suck in the belly. One more breath. And then we take a slow, big step all the way back and fold over that left leg for our wide-legged pyramid pose. Good. So square hips. Feet should be about one leg length apart. Top body's folding over that left leg. Again, you can always take that halfway lift on an inhale breath if you want to create a little space. It's an option in any of our folded poses. Let's take one more full breath here. Right toes are going to plant to face the side. Bring a deep bend into that left leg as we spiral the arms open into our warrior 2. Bend that left leg deeply. Right leg is straight, gazing off that left middle finger. Top body centered. Tailbone is tucked under. Gazing off that left middle finger. Get a little deeper for 2 full breaths. Inhale. Exhale for 1. Inhale. Let that go. Straighten that left leg. Bump up the right foot a little bit. Top body leans forward. And then we drop that left hand to the inside of the left foot. Or to a block. Or to hover in our triangle. Whatever variation serves you best today is exactly the one you should take. Straight legs, stacked shoulders, stacked hips. Good. Find your fullest expression for another breath. Good, then rolling onto the ball of the right foot, we're going to twist it out a little bit. So right hand to a block or to the ground, left arm peels up high to the sky. Legs are still straight. See if you can twist a little deeper from the core. And then we'll start to bring in the lunge for the easy twist. So shimmy those right toes back, bring a bend into the left leg, easy twist, and you can stay right here. Or you can roll to the outer edge of your right foot as you stack the left leg on top of the right for a side plank. Modify by dropping the knee. Advance by lifting the leg, dropping the arm. Stay exactly as you were when you first got here. All great options. Good. Coming back to our high plank pose. And you know your options here. If you're flowing, let's lower halfway. Arms really hug the sides of the body. Coming into your back bend. High cobra tends to be my favorite choice. If you want to take upward dog, it's just tops of the feet and hands. If the high cobra is too low, you can lower the legs, just lift halfway for low cobra. Then rolling over the toes, meaning back and downward facing dog. Couple more standing poses. A little balance in this sequence, getting a little twisty in this sequence. So from our downward facing dog, you can take that slow walk to the top of the mat, or you can bend the knees deeply and take a nice big jump. However you want to get there, we'll all meet in a forward fold. From our forward fold, one vertebrae at a time, we take a slow rise to stand. I'm going to back up so you can see me. So separate your feet just a little bit. Palms facing forward. This is Tadasana, our mountain pose. Take a nice breath in and let it go. Let's open up the arms to cactus. So 90-degree angles, football, goalpost, open the chest, open the heart space. Good, we're going to come into eagle. We're getting a little twisty here. See how it feels. We're going to start with the arms. So we're going to start with the right arm coming underneath the left, bringing the palms together to touch. Really big shoulder opener here. Try to get the arms lifted. Good. Once you have that, we're going to wrap the legs. Bring the weight into your left foot. We're going to go right over left. Now some of you might be able to get that double wrap. These short legs of mine cannot. And then once you're in your eagle, see if you can sit it down a little bit. Find your dristi, something that's not moving that you can stare at. Good. If you fall out of it, you get right back in. See if you can get a little lower for one more full breath. Good. Keeping the eagle arms. Let's slowly start to lift the legs. Right knee into the chest. Then we're going to wrap it behind, right knee behind the left knee. Sink into your Krishna, and then you have the option to keep these eagle arms or maybe open them back up to cactus. Oh, that was tough, but that felt good. Good, sink a little lower. And then let's straighten the legs, keep them crossed as we dive over folded for our forward fold with crossed legs. Good, take a breath, let that all go. What else can you let go of? What else are you holding on to that no longer serves you? Let it go. Now let's uncross the legs. Let's bring our feet closer to the edges of our mat for a wide-legged forward fold. Good. Maybe you want to try, I don't know if we've done this, it's called gorilla. Stepping on the palms of the hands. It's a nice little wrist stretch here too. Try it, see how it feels. If you don't like it, you can release at any point. Feels good on the feet, feels good on the wrists. Good. If you have gorilla, let's release that. Let's take a big step back with the left leg, finding a lizard lunge. So both palms and the right foot are in a straight line. Left toes all the way to the back of the mat. Take a couple gentle rocks forward and back. In your lizard. Now you can stay lifted, but I'm going to give you a couple breaths if you want to lower that left leg. Good, maybe even right palm to the inner edge of the right knee. We're not here too long. We'll take a couple of breaths. Good, maybe you come to the forearms. You guys know all your options if you've been with me for a while, and I invite you always and encourage you to explore these postures. See what variation feels good for you. So wherever you are, let's take one more final breath here. Good, let's prepare to come out of this. So bringing the hands back to the mat, tucking the left toes. So let's step back to our plank. Let's move through our flow, or you can go right back to your downward facing dog, or you can hold plank, or you can throw in some push-ups, or you can take a super quick break, whatever serves you best. We'll be back in downward facing dog. We have that final little sequence here, little balance, little twisting, and then we'll bring it down. So again, however you'd like to get there, take that walk, or if you want to take that hop to the top of the mat. We'll meet for our final time here at the top in a forward fold. And then we'll take that slow and controlled rise to stand to Tadasana, to mountain pose. I'm just going to back up so you can see me. Good. In our mountain pose, let's find those cactus arms. So really shine your heart, open that heart space. Good. Coming into eagle one more time, but we're going to switch it up. So listen carefully. This time, left arm's going to come under the right. Turn the palms to face one another. Try to lift those shoulders up. Good. And then we'll bring the weight into the right foot, and we'll cross left leg over right. If you can get that double wrap by hooking the toes behind the calf, go for it. I certainly cannot. And then once you're here and you're nice and twisty, feeling like a pretzel, see if you can sink down a little bit. Find a drishti, something that's not moving, that you can look at. Don't hold your breath. Sink a little lower for one more full breath. Good, slow and with control. Start to straighten the legs. Oops, I lost my balance for a second. This time, left knee wraps behind the right. And we sink into our Krishna, kind of like a curtsy lunge. And then you have the option if you'd like to release those eagle arms. Really open them to cactus. It should be a nice counter stretch to where you just were. See if you can get a little bit lower. Good. And then we cross leg forward fold. Let the head hang heavy here. Let everything go. But then one final time, let's find out wide-legged forward fold. So uncross the legs. Take a nice breath. If you want to come into gorilla one more time, stepping on the palms of the hands, you certainly can. Preparing for our final lizard. If you're in gorilla, release out of that. Plant the palms. Left foot should be in line with the palms as you step the right foot to the back of the mat. Good. Taking a couple gentle rocks forward and back off the ball of the right foot. And then you know you have the option to stay lifted here. If you want to drop that right knee, you certainly can. Untuck the toes. Maybe left hand to the inside of the left knee just to nudge that hip open slightly. Maybe you come to a forearm or both forearms. Whatever variation of lizard you are in, we're here for about 3 to 4 breaths. I don't know if anyone has my Spotify playlist going. I forgot to mention, I did an all covers playlist today. So lots of familiar songs, but maybe some slightly different takes on them. So it's kind of fun. I think I have enough. I could probably do a whole nother second cover. So we'll see how this one goes. All right, let's take another final breath here. Got it. Slowly coming back to the palms if you're not on them. Tucking the back toes so you're in your lizard lunge where we started. Left leg steps back to meet the right. If you want to move through your final flow, I will talk you through it. Take a nice inhale breath to prepare. Exhale, we lower halfway through. Push up, arms hug the sides of the body. Exhale, find your back bend of choice. Good. Take a nice breath. Rolling back over, downward facing dog. Let's take a nice roll out to our high plank, top of a push-up. And slowly and with control, let's lower all the way to our bellies. Good. Take a nice breath. Take a sip of water if you need to. Let's bring our toes, let's untuck them and bring them mats with distance. Good. Hands, palms right under the shoulders. Let's press through them, finding a high cobra together. Nice stretch in the lower back. Nice back bend. Nice stretch in the abdominals. Make sure your shoulders are away from your ears. Let's take a nice gaze off the right shoulder while we're here. Good. Coming back through center. Gaze off the left. Come back center. See if you can press just a little bit higher. Deepen that back bend. Good. And let's lower. Good. Let's come onto our backs. I'm going to come sideways so you guys can see me. Rolling all the way onto your back. A couple more grounding poses. Kind of wrap up our class today. Bring your soles of the feet to the floor. Bend the knees. Good. Arms on the side of the body. Bring the heels closer to the sits bones. And let's lift up for a bridge pose. Nice gentle back bend here. Nice stretch in the hip flexors in the front of the body. Good. Make sure your knees aren't splaying out wide. Really bring them together. You can even, if anyone has issues with that, this is always a fun trick. Put a block between your knees. Make sure you really hug them in. Good. So you can lift a little higher for one more breath. Good. Gently lower. You can remove anything you have there if you even do. Let's cross that right ankle on top of that left knee. Flex the right foot. Now you can stay right here if you'd like. But I want to invite you to take that back bend, that bridge one more time. So we kind of have a hybrid figure four, which is similar to a pigeon with our back bend. So lifting, pressing through the left heel, opening that right hip. Good. Lift higher for one more breath. Slowly lower. Keep the cross. And let's take a nice gentle spinal twist. So dropping the right foot toward the ground. Gazing off the right shoulder. Different variation of a spinal twist with the crossed legs. It's always a good little hip stretch for me. I don't know how it feels for you guys. If you don't like it, you can uncross the legs and take a traditional twist. Good. Let's gently roll back to center. Release that crossed ankle. This time left ankle on top of the right knee. Really open that left knee first. Bring that right heel closer to the sits bones, arms along the side of the body. And then gently pressing through that right heel to lift. Think about opening that left knee. Good. See if you can lift a little bit higher. One more breath. Time. Good. Slowly lower. Taking that twist, dropping the right foot, I'm sorry, this time left foot, sorry, to the earth, toward the right. If you want to, you can look off the left. Good. Final breath here. Uncrossing the legs. Untwisting. Let's hug both knees in toward the chest. Let's take a couple gentle rocks side to side. Then you have just a moment or two for yogi's choice if you want to end class with an inversion. Maybe you just want to lift the legs higher to the sky, waterfall coming full circle where we started. Maybe you want to throw in some core work here. If you have a headstand or handstand practice that you want to come into, you're welcome to. If you're ready for Shavasana, that's cool too. Come into that. We'll all meet you there in just a few moments. But you have a few moments here for any other options. If you want to take a happy baby, reaching for the outer edge of the feet, or big toes with a yogi toe lock. It's a nice hip opener. Good. Taking a final few breaths wherever you are. If you are in an inversion, just make sure you take a nice counter pose. If you're on your head or hands, take a child's pose when you come out of it for a few breaths. If you're in waterfall, or maybe you lifted to shoulder stand, you can come into Matsyasana fish. I think I'm actually going to wrap up class with a fish today. So if anyone wants to join me, you can lower the legs. Put your hands underneath your glutes. Lift to the elbows. And start to arch your spine, shine your heart, and lower the head. Keep your eyes closed. Point the toes. Taking a final few breaths in whatever it is that you're doing. And then meeting in Shavasana, lowering onto your backs. Finding your final resting pose. If you are on my playlist or if you need to do anything with your music, go ahead. We're going to go to the last song. Just skipping one ahead. Closing the eyes. Settling in. Let's take a really deep, full lion's breath. So inhale through the nose. Fill all the way up. Open mouth. Really let it all go. Good. Settling in here for just, I think this song's not even 2 minutes by the time I'm done talking. Settling in here in your final rest. Hopefully feeling really good and relaxed. Softening any areas of tension. Maybe even coming back to the hands on the belly, hands on the heart and belly. Challenge yourself here to take slow, full inhales and exhales. Feeling your belly rise and fill up like a balloon. And slowly deflate as you exhale. Hopefully bringing you a sense of calm, a sense of peace. As you take literally just about a minute or so here in some stillness. Seems like a long time when you're here, but when you think about it, just a few minutes out of your entire day to welcome stillness, to invite calm, to encourage peace, to enjoy quiet. So one of the best things about doing this in your own home is that I'd imagine some of you are already gone and said forget that part. But on the contrary, you can also stay here as long as you'd like. No one's kicking you out. No one's telling you it's time to go. So if you're able to find some peace, some relaxation, stay here longer. So my Shavasana song comes to an end. I'm just going to pause this playlist. We're going to start to slowly come out of this. But the goal here is to gently reawaken without disturbing any of the peace you just created. So don't take any big, large movements. Start by wiggling the fingers and the toes. Maybe you're just gently rolling out the wrists and the ankles. And when you're ready, hugging the knees into the chest. And then rolling over onto your right side, finding fetal pose. Nice transition to help us get up slowly. And using your left hand for some support, just gently lift into a seated position, cross-legged at the top of your mat. And since we've been focusing on our breath all class, as we always do, let's end with one collective breath as though we were all breathing together, breathing for your neighbor. Inhale through your nose. Fill all the way up. Take one more sip at the top. Hold it for just a moment. And open mouth. Really let it all go. I always like to end class with hands at prayer heart center, bowing the head toward the heart. Thank you all so much for joining me. Hope everyone is feeling well. Stay tuned for some changes, possibly moving forward in July. But enjoy this day. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. I'll see you all soon. Namaste. Have a great day, guys.